Okay, guys, so when we put together the agenda, it was a lot of topics that we wanted to talk with you, but then we came to a conclusion and said, okay, why don't we ask what is really interesting for you? Yeah, might be a fancy idea. So we came up with the idea of a fireside chat, since I can imagine that you've got a lot of questions that you want to put in front of Sören, of Jeroen, of Roy for different topics. And maybe, is there already something burning where you say, okay, that might be an interesting question for all of us to discuss? Is there someone that would like to start? As always, okay. So yesterday in the afternoon when we had our beer and pizza session in Hamburg, in the office, so most frequent question was, where's the beer? So this is not a management question, but it was a most asked question. Second was about the customer success organization, and Roy, you gave us a good overview of what's meant by that. Nevertheless, we've got more than 200 customers nowadays, so will every customer get a customer success manager?
Yeah, that's the idea. But so what we've done is we've created groups of customer success managers where we only had a few. We've also included the Porto team now. So that means that we have now something like 14, 15 customer success managers, and they are divided in 3 groups. And these 3 groups, they are roughly responsible for 50 customers. And then there's, of course, the high-touch customers that need a lot of attention and something we do. And then there's the low-touch customers, right? So that's how we split it. But for sure, we want to stay in touch with customers, but then more high-touch or low-touch, depending on the customers. Depending also very often on the maturity of the partner. If a very mature partner, probably things will be more low-touch for us. Sometimes we have a more immature partner or no partner at all, then it will be more high-touch for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you give us a rough idea about how many people are working in this team now?
Yeah, so we have in the total customer success group now between 60 and 65 people, which is then split between the support teams, the enablement teams, the consultants and the architects and the customer success managers. So it's a pretty significant group now within CoreMedia, right? We are 200 people in CoreMedia, so 60 of them are really working in customer-facing roles. Next, of course, also the sales team, of course, who's fully customer-focused. So yeah, it's quite a big team that really focuses on our customers.
Yeah. Okay. Another question was, okay, who is my customer success manager? And dear partners, you don't have a dedicated customer success manager, but customer get a customer success manager. Nevertheless, who should they reach out to if they have a question? Okay, who's talking to DMG Mori, for example, since this is one of our big customers? So.
Yeah, so we have the customer success directors, people like Matt, Pierre. They are also here. We can also reach out to Lars. Blaas Jagenov or me, just ask, everything is very transparent. We have everything in our system, so everybody can see in our Salesforce system, like who's the customer success manager for this customer. And it should be easy to fix.
Or otherwise, just reach out to the people that you know. Yeah, so we're not such a big company that we don't have access to Salesforce. So whenever you've got a question regarding the customer success manager, just a side note, but that will mean that, for example, the customer success directors, they've got a team, but it can't be for you as a partner that you work with different customer success managers, since you work with different customers, obviously. Okay. Then there was something that we tried to explain when we came up with the first customer success management anyway. So what is the difference between an account executive and a customer success manager?
Yeah, we use the term account executive and sales rep and sales director, sometimes a little bit intermittently. The focus of the customer success manager is really make sure that the customer is happy, that they're using the software to its fullest extent, that they know what else is possible with it, because we still have some customers that have implemented this much of the platform and don't realize that this much is possible. Sales, the account executives, as we call them sometimes as well, are obviously also focused on the relationship. As you saw in Roy's chart, it is an account team. We're all together looking after the customer. What we don't want at CoreMedia is that our sales folks only show up when there's a deal to be had. We want them to have a relationship. They can't do that with all of the 200 customers, but obviously you play a very important role in that as well. But we want them to have a relationship, to be engaged, so that when there is a bigger project to be defined or to shaped, or a new brand that is interested in also becoming part of the rollout, etc., that we can help positioning that. So the sales part, the value proposition, the business case maybe, that will come from the account executive or sales.
Okay, so next chance for you to put a question.
It's really smart of us to do this right before the award ceremony, because we can still change things, right? So the last second. So I feel pretty safe up here.
So we did not engrave the name on the so we can, by accident, yeah. Anyone?
Yeah, over there.
Yes.
How will you decide in the future when a pitch in a public or something? A lot of partners are in the pitch. How you will decide your support on the partner side? First come, first serve, or?
So
if there's
I can answer
needed.
that directly, but happy to hand it over to the management team as well. So if you have a look on your partner contract, it says, okay, the first one that more or less registers the lead gets the best support, obviously. But yes, of course, we try to support you as best as possible. But for example, for me, the golden rule is I only pop up once on customer side with the partner that registered the lead. Yeah, I want to avoid that the sales team, my sales team, any sales team pops up on Tuesday with Babil and on Wednesday on Avato. And things a different story, just in front of the customer. So there's one situation where CoreMedia will be in front of the customer together with a partner. So all other partners that might be a part of the RFP process that had not registered first, they will get support from us. Yes, of course. But we will not be on site or something like that. That's how we dealt with in the last 10, 15 years. Does this answer your question? Or is it Babil first? What is, no. Yeah. We do that in alphabetic order, so you've got a very good chance. So W Center is not on not there today, but that would be hard for them as well. Okay, any questions from the audience? Otherwise, I put the next question.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, cool. I didn't see. Okay.
There is also a delivery manager. So what is the difference between delivery manager and customer success?
Yeah, very good question, Christina. So imagine that a customer success manager. I'm in sales. I'm not manager. I'm just going away. So right.
Okay.
Sorry,
thanks, Martin.
Fireside chat with Martin.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something we optimized, I feel, in the organization, because we used to have a customer success manager and a delivery manager, and it started, it's just conflicting sometimes. It's sometimes unclear who does what. So what we've decided is to really move to just having customer success managers, and these customer success managers are also able to implement stuff or support implementations of partners. Right, so there's no more delivery managers. So what you will see, if you know some of our delivery managers, some will have moved to more technical side of things, the more technical guys and girls we have in that area, and other will have moved to be customer success manager. So we have people, looking at delivering stuff as customer success managers, and then more the technical staff helping the partners. By doing that, I think we made a clear distinction between all the roles.
Next question, please. I will not answer it. Promise. Okay, and then I've got a question for Sören. Last time when we were at the Connect and Partner Engage, we were talking about the Gartner DXP quadrant, or the quadrant that we're currently in. We were expecting to move a lot into the right corner, out from niche into visionary. When you have a look on the Gartner quadrant this year, then we moved, luckily, but not as much as expected. What's your take on that?
Actually, I talked to them. I was also frustrated. Like, what? You know, when we look at the numbers, the scoring, the coverage, we made a huge jump, right? Because we suddenly had everything in there that we in the past had to integrate, or third-party solutions. And we basically told them, hey, look, the coverage went from 60-something to 100. So where's the credit for that? And they were jumping on a call, and the first time that we had 3 of the analysts in the call, and they were kind of like, it was clear, they tried to explain themselves. What I learned later on with another call with them is, you know, they don't look at the technology and what we do, but for example, moving to the right means also how many of the big markets are you addressing? So just the fact that Asia, for example, is right now not our market, means that basically they take us not too far to the right. And I say, okay, now I understand. So it's also, you know, which markets are you active in? And so yeah, it's the other argument was, okay, hold the market, everyone is moving up, and it's like yeah. So it felt a little bit also that they have their kind of like way of doing things. Some people might say you have to pay more to get more to the upper right, but I didn't say that. Yeah.
By the way, there's an interesting blog post from Suche about how to read the Gartner quadrant, so I'm happy to share that with you.
I think, yeah, that's a good point. And I think it's also if a customer of yours asks about that, because there are some customers that have a tendency of say, well, you know, better safe to pick the right-hand quadrant, and then I'm always good. We're quite confident to have that dialogue. I actually really like the wording in the recent Magic Quadrant around CoreMedia. Yes, we would have loved the dots to go a bit more up to the right, maybe a bit more up. But if you read the wording, it's actually a very positive description. And there's not much in there that stops you from positioning us to a certain customer or in a certain situation, certain complexity. And then there's always, of course, the other analysts that have a far more favorable rating around us, whether it's Forrester or Real Story Group, you mentioned, and there's a few others that even have us, you know, and they're sort of equivalent of the top right corner. Another thing to note is that Gartner also already doing the process, and now they've confirmed that. So there used to be a CMS quadrant, and we were pretty solid in that. Then they made it a DXP quadrant, and all of a sudden we saw Salesforce as, you know, in there, and obviously Adobe, but some commerce players, and we're going like, okay, this is getting a little convoluted. They told us that they're going to stop with this quadrant. They're going to look at a different approach to it, because I think they felt it was also a little bit apples and oranges. So it's not 100% clear what that quadrant is going to look like. They were talking about composable DXP maybe more, but they hadn't figured out themselves yet what that meant. But they have announced that, hey, it's going to change. We're even going to postpone it for next year. It's going to be a year later, half a year later. So I think, frankly, I think that'll play in our favor as well, because it's going to be a slightly more focused quadrant.
Thanks. Next question. Guys, come. You will not get awarded. Okay, then I've got a question regarding what we saw with Kio. Toby mentioned that Kio is able to take away some boring tasks for the editorial team. Or do you expect that Kio will replace the studio?
Replace full studio?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think, though, and I'll be presenting that this afternoon as well, I think the role of the AI in the studio will significantly change. Where we now say, okay, we have studio, we put Kio on top of it. I think it will start with Kio, and the UI will change around Kio. So that's, and I'll do some small demo on that this afternoon. So I think for sure that will change. I think Kio will connect to many other systems, right? So yeah, you can already connect it to a lot of others. You can, you know, whatever you want to connect it to. I don't think we do enough of that. And that, of course, will bring a lot of new workflows or new kind of applications into Studio. But I also do feel that still there is this human touch needed, right? You still need to be able to say, well, I agree on this content. I agree that this is being published, because, you know, you're representing your company, and you cannot just have AI go all the way decide everything, because you can, right? You can easily do that. But okay, you still need to have this compliance, you still need to be in control of what you're doing as a company. But having said that, I think the role will become more and more important, but still, there needs to be some kind of control. And in order to be control, you need to have something like Studio in place to say, well, this is valid, you can use this data. I think Sören will talk about that this afternoon. I will talk about that as well this afternoon.
Yep.
So,
So that's the benefit of having a setup like this today. Yeah, so we will cover some questions already, but we will show that in the afternoon. So there's more detail on that, and then we can discuss that. Okay, next chance. I will not let you go. I can pick someone.
So many questions.
Is this something that you want to share with us?
Well, apart from all the stuff that comes later on, I don't know. Like, I would ask what do you want to know, like, but we did that already.
I did that.
So
I'd love to add one thing to what you presented, Martin, because the partner management topic. Literally just emphasizing what Martin said. Partner management is incredibly important to us. I need to rephrase that. Partners are important to us. And it's a little bit like the picture that you shared, Martin. If it doesn't work, if you feel it doesn't bring the value to you and to us, you need to change it. Whether it's a bit disruptive and sometimes unpleasant, but we felt we had to change it. And what we wanted to change is not like to take out people that look after you. No, we wanted you to be looked after better. So we wanted to bring it back closer to sales, closer to the regions, as you mentioned. And hopefully, we believe that's paying off, and literally also more figuratively in the relationship. If at some stage you feel like, hey, I need more attention, then let us know as well. But the feedback that we're getting from most of you is that feels a bit more practical. We're talking custom people that know their stuff, know the customers, know the projects, know the deals, know the pipeline, the market, etc. So hopefully that's been beneficial. And if there's any questions around that later as well, what we do in the future, if anything, then let me know as well.
Hey, question, Lisa.
Are there some ideas to include the marketing automation more seamless in the platform and to optimize the feature set in the same maturity level like the competitors with Microsoft Dynamics, for example?
Yeah, so as said before, also presented a little bit by Tobias, we are currently integrating Engagement Cloud natively, which has some marketing automation in there, of course, a lot of data analytics in there. We're going to be able to run campaigns, A/B testing, all this kind of stuff natively in Studio. We'll also present that this afternoon on what the plans are there. So quite a lot of stuff of natively integrating campaign management, data analytics kind of features next to the content, so that you, in a very easy way, can use that. All right, so that's for sure something we will also be showing. I don't want to refer all the time to this afternoon, but it is for sure on our roadmap and something we are currently working on. That's it.
So there's so much more in Engagement Cloud that we basically have activated yet, right? So there are indeed the abilities to have kind of like longer campaigns automated. You have the targeting, you have kind of quite a few things reaching out through different channels. And I think there is more potential to make that more easily available. And like recently we're working with a customer to bring, for example, video chats to the website. And the context there was it's a fashion customer with older clients, and for them to have this intimate situation that you basically talk to someone, get advice while you're in the store, that's something they also want to create on the online store. And so these things are then, connected back to, okay, it's that customer, we know that person, and you basically can start to have this bigger customer experience that are, consistently through all the different touch points. So it's certainly like a big topic. The details we have to take a look, like what exactly you are looking at. It would be good to have that discussion. Pleasure. Thanks for the question.
Next question.
Extra points.
Yeah, Jan Hendrik has a question. So the row behind you, Lisa, just yeah.
Thank you. Hi. It's a more technical question. We heard a lot about the KIO and talking with the content, chatting with the content. Have you some ideas in mind how open it will be? For example, we're experimenting a lot with agents, MCP protocols, etc., to chat with the content from outside or manipulate content from the outside, even run playbooks maybe via API integration, composable architectures.
Sorry, again, what's the exact question?
The question is, are there some strategies to open it up, to chat with the content from outside and to take actions from the outside, not only with KIO integrated in CoreMedia Content Cloud?
So you like delivering our own MCP server? That comes, yeah, absolutely. So I think it's going to be instrumental, not only for our KIO to talk to other instances, but also the other way around. That you open up now, your infrastructure via APIs. I think you need to open it up via MCP as well to also have other AI also work with Content Cloud. Absolutely.
We had a good discussion yesterday actually with the customer advisory board, and one customer said, "Oh, our customer support wants to have the real-time updates, what's happening for their customer calls, and they want it in their own agent that they had there with, I think, Salesforce, Agentforce, and the information that they needed was the website. They have all information in real time there, so it's kind of like the source of truth for them. And indeed, that use case that you described is exactly that, like to provide the information in real time to these different other touch points. And the AI touch points in third-party systems is one of that. So the MCP is like certainly the way to go.
I think for the future, the AI to AI communication will be instrumental. Of course, it's still at the beginning, but for sure that will happen. How it exactly will happen, we don't know yet. There's some ideas there. It's like a little bit how we started last year with KIO as an agent. We also in the beginning like, okay, should it be an agent? Or should it, should we just integrate features into the screens, in the UI? We did both, and then we ditched one. We said it clearly needs to be an agent, right? So I think on this one as well, we need to move forward, work together, see what works, what doesn't work, and then make decisions in the right direction there. But for sure, it will happen. Yeah.
Okay, I think there was another question over there. Yeah, or there.
So we need a leader like you to get the questions going. Thank you.
You've explained this morning that you will move some features from the engagement cloud, like personalization, to the content cloud. Will the features be also available for on-premise hosted features or services?
Yes, but the data will be not on-premise. So for now, we've not planned to build a on-premise solution for Engagement Cloud. Right? So for example, if you have the data, you have your on-premise solution, yes, you can connect to Engagement Cloud, but Engagement Cloud is a SaaS solution, so the data will reside in Engagement Cloud, in our SaaS solution. For now.
It's a discussion that we see, right? Like in the last few months, potentially because of a certain precedent, there are more questions from prospects and partners and customers. Hey, where should I basically put my data and my services? I talked to an airport, and they said, we will bring everything back from Azure to 3 data centers that we control. I was surprised, but I could understand why. They are at a scale that they have to have these data centers anyway, and they didn't want the situation that they are kind of under political or some other pressure, or they were annoyed with Microsoft having this issue with the virus situation, and they didn't get any feedback. So we see this topic of data sovereignty, and that might be something. Well, in this case, our engagement cloud is run on AWS, but we could, if we wanted to, and there's a market for it, we could also provide that in a different way. In a, for example, hardened data center, or like putting it into a dedicated environment for a customer. It's technically possible, but there has to be a business case for it.
Exactly, and that's what we're looking into. Also looking at how this is all developing into, because at some point in time we could offer Engagement Cloud on a private cloud, but there needs to be enough customers to really support that. It needs to be a business case for us, but I don't know how it will go. But for sure, there are signals with our beloved president that you don't want to be dependent too much on hyperscalers from the US. So it depends a little bit on how the market is moving, and we'll adjust to that if needed.
So we had a chat with AWS as well, and they came pretty alarmed, was my perception, for this topic. They came with this sovereign cloud that they developed. So they have a data center in Germany, run only by Europeans. The building, everything is in Europe, nothing in the US, everything, but still owned by Amazon. So it's like it's still an American owner who could basically say, jump right, and they don't jump left, they will jump right. That's a little bit the question there. Is that sufficient? On the other hand, we also have one customers that are now, I think, on Azure with C5 certification with a partner of Arto. So it's, I think, a topic that will be discussed in the future. I talked to another, CEO of a software company for CDP. They also decided to move away from Azure and bring it back to their own data center. It was interesting. I didn't expected that, but for their target audience, which is kind of like it's healthcare and finance, that was a topic that they say they want to do. We're not sure. We can deploy our technology, as you know, in different ways. Engagement Cloud, we haven't decided that yet. It's a good discussion to have. If we have really prospects where that is sufficient or is needed, and there are enough of them, that's a possibility.
Strategically, if you look where we're developing towards a product, we develop it more into be able to run on any kind of cloud, right? So we're not using a lot of AWS native services so that we can never move away from AWS. So also when talking to Olaf, our product owner, we really look at, okay, so how can we make sure we become or stay cloud agnostic? Right? We don't go all in AWS or all in Azure and lock ourselves in. So that's already strategic direction that we have.
Yeah. Okay, there was a question there, last row. Yeah. It's really hard to see.
So basically, you stole my question. I had the same one.
Okay.
But just to add to the discussion, because for my client, I see a market for the engagement cloud on-premise or features from the engagement cloud on-premise. So maybe that helps the business case.
Thanks.
Good. Deal. Write it down.
Yeah, we saw that indeed finance, insurance is a booming market right now. The reasoning might be, okay, retail, they are not doing too well, right? The economy is not well. But the interest rates are back. And what we see in finance is also that there are some players, like Revolut, you might have heard of, they are going through the roof, right? I'm not sure you know. What is the profit they made last year? Any idea? Yeah. Like more than $1 billion. And that's not revenue, that's profit now. So they are really kind of like having a better customer experience, and it works for them. What we see now is that all the other financial institutions, they have to drive forward their digital experience and their kind of like automation. The same is true for healthcare. They don't make that much money, but they have to be much more efficient. And now with these digital updates, digital kind of like patient files and the like, they really go in that direction. So it's a growth market for us that we see with the 2 new banks on board with Martin, like recently. There's more to come.
Okay. Any more questions? 3, 2, 1, done. Thank you so much to the management team.
Thanks.